So, Facebook Marketplace strikes again. So I sold the KFX 400 for a considerable more amount than I purchased it for. Only put a couple $100 into it. She's ready to rip. I'm like, alright, done with projects. So I always wanted a Kawasaki Brute Force 750, but I could never come across one that was respectable but needed a little bit of love until the other day. So I was right across state lines, about a 45-minute drive. The gentleman had a ATV trailer, which we'll get into later, a 2005 Kawasaki Brute Force 750, and a 2006 Arctic Cat 400 4x4. And yeah, came across a screaming deal. Couldn't pass it up. Oopsies. I rode them both on the trailer. As you can see, this thing has a nasty exhaust leak. So this is a V-twin, and my understanding is that the exhaust on the rear cylinder rots off. So you can actually feel hot exhaust coming out right here. So I'm gonna tear into this thing shortly, take you guys along with me. The air filter was completely shot, so I just ordered up a tune-up. I got 2 spark plugs coming, a oil filter, oil change, air filter. We'll probably do front and rear diff, gear oil. We're going to do some exhaust and see what else this thing needs. It's got a belt light on. I read a lot on the internet saying that the belt lights are indicative that they might just need to be reset. So I ordered a new Kawasaki belt for it because it was like $100. I'm just going to throw it in that container so I can have it with me. But yeah, let's take this thing for a little rip. It's nasty, nasty loud, but just let it warm up. Got the choke on still. Oh, she don't like that. What do you think, Peter? Yeah, not healthy. So the tires on this thing are shot too. We'll let it warm up for a little bit. Got no air filter, so we're not going to go too far on this dirt road. But it's got 1,500 miles. Just put some fresh gas in it. Seems to be working out the old fuel, but I'm pretty sure there's tubes in the front tires. The thing is just hurting. The gentleman had them sitting at his camp, gave me all the paperwork with them, so I confirmed they weren't stolen for this deal. Let's see what this thing can do. Exhaust bad. All right, we're gonna get to working on this brute force today. Got some parts, got a new setup to the garage. Just had the electrician come in, so we'll be insulating shortly, and then be getting the Chevelle likely into this bay, but this bay's wide open. This thing's not really worthy of an indoor spot yet, but with any luck we'll have the what's it called, 200SX, which is the 1986. There's some videos on that. Put them in the description if you haven't seen it. It's kind of a fun little video. the 250X, and then table saw is gonna go downstairs. That snow blower, got a chipper over there. These bicycles are gonna get hung up. A couple snow blowers, generator, 3 snow blowers. Those are all gonna get hung up. But my dad's gonna come here in a couple weeks. We'll insulate the garage up. We're gonna do plywood on top of the insulation. Probably encapsulate the roof here, but the electrician wired up some lights and my dad hooked me up with a bench. So we're working, you know, it's just a better bench than this cheesy little setup that I brought with me from Missouri. And we'll be working like a professional, or close to it. Anyways, once we get this thing insulated, we'll get the Chevelle back here, get to working on that again, which is pretty exciting. But today we've got some parts. So this is a genuine, usually followed by me saying Chinese part, but it's actually a Japanese part. There's part number for you if you need one. This is a drive belt, which I don't know if I need. A lot of people were saying just reset the the belt light, and then see if it comes back on. It doesn't seem to have any drive issues, but the guy said it needed a belt, so I preemptively ordered one. We're going to change some gear oil, so that's just a reminder for me, really. What else? So this is actually a kit from Edwards, and I'll put the link in the description. But it comes with an air filter. There's the genuine Kawasaki air filter, which is pretty cool. I got to look up to see if this thing needs to be oiled. I do have some oil. It should be 2 NGK spark plugs, which are my favorite, even though we call them the no good kind. This is a 2005 2005 Brute Force 750 V-twin. So obviously there's 2 of these bad Jacksons, and that's the one I was told you'd need. Oh, no way. They give you the oil filter wrench for it too. Man, this is a good kit. Gloves. I was wondering what this was. I didn't read the description, but I knew it came with the actual Kawasaki oil filter, so I figured I would buy it. This thing comes with the crush washer. This is the real deal. Shout out to Edwards. Yeah, so 3 quarts 10W40, which I believe should be enough. So let's get into it. Get you guys set up on the tripod. Get some lights under here. Maybe we'll roll old Frankie out of the way, and get some illumination. I cleaned this thing a little bit today. It's just absolutely caked with mud. So with any luck, won't be getting it to the eyeballs as much as I might otherwise have been. All right, first thing we're gonna do with this thing is fire it up and let it warm up. I already checked the oil. It's right above the bottom of the safe zone choke. That nasty, nasty exhaust leak. Somebody just left this thing for dead. I don't know why there's still a tow strap attached to. We're gonna stick 17mm on there and pull the stream plug out. No, first impressions, not bad. No chunks. All right, drain plug's out. Got the filter, a little oil in there. We're gonna see if we can't climb up on in here and find this oil filter. There she is. Poor thing. Unrecognizable. Never getting this thing off. Yeah, this is totally the factory oil filter. I would bet on it. Just one of those things. All right. I think they even give us a funnel. Hey, crush washer. We gotta get that out. All right, new crush washer installed. Let's get this thing in there. Oh yeah, baby. Drink up. Cool. Got the one in there. That's a good sign too. Damn, this thing sounds really good. Wow. I don't know if it needed an oil change or something. Alright, still needs exhaust. Exhaust section I need, but I'm not familiar with this setup. So, it's only like 50 bucks on eBay. So if I can get that piece instead of spending, 450 bucks on a Big Gun or Big Gun Evo, I think is the company, or Mosey. All right, rear rack is off. Thing actually looks like a real four-wheeler now. So sweet, even without the seat on. All right, well, we just exposed some plastics here. So with any luck, this should come right off. We might actually get access to the exhaust, so let's see what happens. So my suspicion is that it's the rear exhaust, which is this pipe. So I'm gonna pull this shield off. I already got two of the bolts out, and see what's under there. So I think we have to disconnect these, and obviously from the head. So let's see what happens. All right, Saturday morning. Working towards getting these side plastics off. So on the other side, I got all the hardware out, got the new air filter on, just to minimize the dust from going in there while we're working on this thing, and gonna be vacuuming this crap out later. Yeah, all the rear plastics are off. Got this little shield off. Just been spraying PB Blaster in there on those exhaust bolts. So with any luck, we'll get the rest of these screws out. I think the only thing holding this thing on is these screws here. Pulled the ignition out, kind of popped it through, shift knobs off. I got some mud release agent over there. Gonna get this thing outside and give it a good spray here. Once we get it all exposed, try and get all that grease off. Once we get the plastics off, new plugs will go in, new belt will go on. Here's the hardware from the rear rack. Here's the hardware I was just talking about. Yeah, we're just picking away at it. Let's get this plastic off. All right, so I've been spraying these exhaust bolts for like a week now. And finally, I disconnected these two 12mm bolts. There's one there, one up top. And then I took this heat shield off, which connects these two pipes together. In theory, with this clamp loose and these two bolts out, I said in theory, not in theory, should be able to disconnect this. I'm gonna do it off camera because I need two hands. First I thought, this guy's crazy, there is no exhaust leak. Oh, there's an exhaust leak, bud. He had clamped it. I don't care how tight that clamp is. Well, just went for a run to the hardware store, which is very close by. Got this trailer all spruced up. It's kind of been sitting in the mud, so it doesn't look as clean as it did a day ago, but it is much better than it was. Anyways, these little ramp locks fit in here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put new springs on it. What do you think? New spring? Who dis? brand new battery. See if this thing moves. How hilarious would that be? Oh, I just took Frankie for a rip. We got the fan running right now. It won't rev out, but it's a ton of fun. Just kind of putzing around on everything. It moves, so that's cool. We'll get it figured out. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it.
Got no hair left. Bugs in the hair. Mountain riding, baby.
This is max speed. Take that one.
Go see cheese.
All right, all scrubbed up. Looks a little bit better. Gotta get this rack back on this thing. Oh, it's been about a week. As you can tell, we're fixing up some lawnmowers. But we picked up some new exhaust. Let's get it unpackaged. Well, hopefully she fits. Certainly looks a little less rusty. All right. Oh, we gotta tighten this up too. Let there be silence. Hell yeah. Couldn't quite wait to test it out. Look at how much quieter this thing is. I still think it's in need of a carb clean. Damn. Let's go for a little ride. Looks like they're burning pretty good. Definitely time for a new plug though. Just gonna crack this sucker loose. I believe it's a 19 mil here on the rear diff. Still topped off. Kind of looks like gear oil. That's pretty cool. Let's drain the bottom out. See what happens. All right, just crack this sucker loose. It's a 12 millimeter. Wow, looks really good. There's no metal. Awesome. All right, fuel line goes to here. Breather tube. Where does it go? Oh, air box that I took off. Phillips head goes here, connects to air box. And then there's two air lines. Longer one, which is here, connects to the back side right here. Shorter one up here. All right, we got this, some kind of device here. Should just pop right off, good. And yellow, let's see, yellow goes on top. And that red? Let's see, what color are you? White. So yellow and black goes on top. And okay, it's screwed up. They're different shapes. Cool. All right, the only thing that should be left holding these things in here is throttle and choke. And apparently another, yeah. Oh god, this is a mess. All right, we're back working on the brute force a couple days later. Got some throttle cable linkage. Basically, this plastic piece fits in there like so. There's 2 screws that hold it here, and 3 screws that hold this cover right on here. So what I'm gonna do is remove this linkage by going like this and popping that throttle cable off. And I should be able to just loosen this bad girl a tiny bit, and then this throttle cable pop right out of here. I think this moves, yeah, both bars. Super cool. And then I gotta take, I think, 2 choke cables off. So let's do that right now. This goes back on in this orientation with the, just like that. Go ahead and take the overflow off. All right, pop the bowl off this one, and got some presents down in there for us. Ugh. Definitely a little gummed up. Pull these mains and pilots out and get this thing back ripping the way it should be. So ignore my neighbors having a rap battle outside, but I don't know if you guys can see that, but that main is clogged. Now it's not. Cool. Well, we'll clean all this stuff up and take some more things apart and put this thing back together nice and clean. There's all that old fuel and gunk in there. A little bit in there. A lot of dirt. Not surprised. I'd say it was time for a new plug. It's a pain to get to, but we did it. Fresh carb rebuild. Let's get it from a full stop. So it used to fall on its face when you give it throttle off the rip. I guess the belt light was no joke. So I put it in forward gear. Went from Kawasaki brute force to Kawasaki scoop force. I just zipped these 8-10mm bolts off this belt cover. A whole bunch of crap behind here. Pretty sure that's gear selector stuff. But yeah, we're gonna clean this out, and there's the remnants of the belt. I'm sure that's good for it. Every time I put fresh gas in this thing, it gets more and more terrifying. doing this the right way. So I just drained out the random gear oil I had dumped in there last time. We're gonna use gear and wet brake oil, final drive fluid for Kawasaki. So all the scrap's draining out of there. Looks pretty good, which it should because I just flushed it. Yeah, exciting stuff. We're getting somewhere. The time has come. Frankie is departing. For sale. Sold.